Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Emily Cole. We are going to get started here at 1 p.m. So if you will just hang out until 1 Eastern Standard Time, we will get started then. Thanks. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the online registration form webinar here with Jackrabbit. So we're going to be going over a lot of good information today. I know the webinar says that it is going to be an hour. I do not expect it to take the full hour. So let's go ahead and get started by introducing everybody who you're going to have with us today. So my name is Emily Cole. If you have not been in any of my webinars before, I am the product training specialist here with Jackrabbit. So I do all of the training webinars as well as any in-person training, and I also go to trade shows. With us here in the Q&A today, we're going to have Dawn and Kelly. They're both support reps with our support team. If you have ever put in a ticket, a chat, or a phone call, you might have been able to talk with them. If not, I'm sure you will at some point while you are here with Jackrabbit. So let's go ahead and start talking about what we are going to be looking at today. So the first thing we're going to look at is what is the online registration form. After that, we're going to be looking at general settings, registration fee, registration form settings, field options, and then we're going to finally preview it. I do want to just make sure that everybody is aware that the chat is going to remain closed for this webinar. We are going to be working off of the Q&A, and Kelly and Dawn are going to be looking at that Q&A throughout the entire webinar. So if you have questions, throw them in the Q&A and they will answer them. So let's go ahead and look at this online registration form. But first, can you just look at this new executive dashboard and just see the beauty that it is? If you're looking for information about the new executive dashboard, I did a webinar last week and it went live today, and it will be in the email that you get tomorrow with today's recording, and you'll also get that recording of the new executive dashboard look as well. That's like a very quick 13-minute webinar. So when we are looking at Jackrabbit, before we get into the actual online registration form, I just want to make note of a couple of different things here. If you've been in my webinars before, you're familiar with this. We go through the Jackrabbit Help every time and the Resource Center every time. Jackrabbit Help is right here, this question mark here. You can very quickly just click that. You'll be able to get to the Help Center, the video help, staff training options, e-payment resources. You can submit a ticket, request a call, or chat with support. That's where you might find Dawn or Kelly anytime you submit anything that is these little blue buttons here. You can also connect with us via Facebook or YouTube. Facebook is our Facebook user group. I'll talk about that at the end of our webinar. And then YouTube, you can go here. You can find any of the videos that we create here at Jackrabbit to help you as customers and organizations. And then over here to the right, the very far right, is our resource center. So as you go through here, you can say, let's get started optimizing Jackrabbit training opportunities. This is where you might have found this webinar today. So if you want to scroll down, you can see that the smart grids is the next one that we're going to be going through. That's going to be May 16th. And then all the upcoming webinars as well. On-site training, if you are looking for on-site training, you can look at that. And then you can also look at latest enhancements. I do want to note with the new executive dashboard, if you were with the classic dashboard, you knew that if you scroll down, you could see the latest enhancements. If you are looking at the new executive dashboard, that is not there anymore. So the only way to see your latest enhancements is to go to the Resource Center and click Latest Enhancements. And that way you can do that. And there is another way to watch that webinar that I created here. Like I said, 13 minutes, very quick and easy. You can look at integrations and partners, featured videos. You can do show me how, this is tutorials. You can submit your ideas to the idea portal if you have any ideas about how we can make Jackrabbit work better for you. And then this is the this and that. This is kind of like the catch-all bucket of the Resource Center. All right, so we have gone through just very general information there. So let's go ahead and start with the meat and potatoes for today. What is the online registration form? So the online registration form, let's go ahead and go to it. You'll go to your gear icon, you'll go to settings, and then you'll go right down here to online registration. When you click online registration, this is the first thing it's going to take you to. It's going to take you to the getting started. You can go to settings and you can go to field options label. Don't worry, we're going to be going through all of this today. But your registration form is this right here. This is how you capture new families and new students' information. For already existing families, you will then send them to the parent portal. This is just a way for you to get registration information for a new family or a new student coming to your organization. So this is kind of like the catch-all, how much information do you want? Where do you want the information? And what policies do you want them to agree to? This is everything that we will go through today. So now that we've looked at what exactly the new, the online registration form is, let's go ahead and get into some of these settings. So you can go through online settings, online registration settings, but first I want to go through some general settings that have to do with our online registration form. So if we go to the gear icon, we click settings, we go to general, and then I want to make sure that we have an organization logo. So if we go right here, this is how you'll update an organization logo. You can upload your logo, you can see your logo in action, you can delete your logo, and you want to make sure that it is within 300 by 170 pixels. If it is not, you can use any of these 3 links down here, and it will be able to edit that for you. So you want to make sure that you've got this logo in there because this is going to show up on your online registration. The other thing that I want to look at when we are in our general settings is our user-defined fields. So there are a lot of already defined fields that Jackrabbit has kind of determined for you, but we have decided, or this has been an ongoing thing, is we have these fields that you can define for your users, or excuse me, for your parents and students. So as you can see, there are 5 family fields for user-defined fields, and you can just put in any information, any additional information that you want to capture. So for family, I've got alternate pickup here. For students, I've got pronouns and I've got a nickname. So when we are going through the online registration form, you'll be able to see those, this right here, pronouns and nickname and alternate pickup. This will be an actual question that they will either have to answer or it will be optional. You can always just kind of come in here, change these how you want. If you want to add 5 for the family field, you absolutely can. The only thing is the maximum is 5 here for family field and maximum for 5 for the student. So we have looked at those. We've looked at the logo. We've looked at user-defined fields. The next thing I want to look at is I want to look at e-payment. And so to do that, we're going to go right over here to the gear icon again, settings, and then we're going to go over here to e-payments. Once we click e-payments, wow, my computer is slow. Okay, so once we go over here to e-payments, what we want to do is we want to go into the credit card and bank account state setting. I'm going to click manage settings. I'm going to go right here to online registration settings. So the question that it is asking you right here is when you are in the online registration form, a new family is filling out this information. Do you want to require a credit card when they're filling out this form? And do you want a bank account required? I've got on here as a yes for a credit card and optional for bank account. The reasoning behind that is I want a way to charge a family if they are coming into my organization, they're putting their information in. Do I charge a registration fee? If I do charge a registration fee, how do I want that to be charged? By requiring a credit card, I am then getting that information so that I can then charge that registration fee. So that is a great way to do it. You can always change this if you want no, or if you want optional. I'm going to keep that as yes, and I'm going to keep that bank account required as optional. We're going to save that, and then we're going to go right back over here, and we're going to go to settings, and we're going to go down to online registration. All right, so now we've got settings right here. Just getting started. This is just any information. It'll help you just with getting links to the help center. So these links here, these are going to take you to direct help center articles that we have. And then when we are looking at settings, we're going to come right over here, and we are going to be able to look at all of this information. So all of this information is editable for us so that we can look at it in our registration form. So you're looking at this header text and you're saying, whoa, what is all of that information? So that is all HTML. I know I used to use HTML when I used MySpace. I don't know if y'all used MySpace as well, but I used to be able to code when I was using MySpace. That was many years ago. I am not good at it now. So what I have now done is this right here, this class instructions. If you click this here, this view HTML, this is giving you that HTML. So what I have done is I have put in this information here. This is what I want in my header text. I want this: welcome to the Shark House. Please complete the following registration form. Here in my header text. So what I've done is I have put this right here, and then all I have to do is click HTML. I can copy this, I clicked Control C to copy. You can also right click and click copy. You can update, and then I can put this right there. So let's say I want to change the color of this. I can very quickly just let me highlight this first. And let's say I want it to be hot pink. I've now changed that to hot pink. I can then click HTML. I can do this, click Control C again. I can click cancel. And here I can put that. So this, now let's save these changes. Preview registration form. This is now pink instead of blue. You can do the same thing right down here for the confirmation message. If you want this to be in a different color, if you want it to be bold, all you need to do is come right in here. You can now get rid of this. And I can put this in here. And let's say I want this one to be green because they have now registered for it. And I want it to be bold. I can then do the same thing here. HTML, copy all of this, Control C, and paste that right there. And then when we are going into the class instructions, now that you've got both your header text and your confirmation put in here with the HTML, the way that you want it to be viewed, you can then get rid of this and you can then actually put in your class instructions of please view the below classes and select the one you would like to enroll in. And again, I can edit this. I can make it bold. I can make it any color I want. We're going to do black here. And this is, you can also change the background. So I want it like that. Let's just say I want it like that. So now I can save changes again. I can preview registration form. And now you've got this pink right here. You can scroll down. And you can see, please view the below classes and select. So that is my class instructions. And then at the very end, this is the confirmation message. We'll see that when we have confirmed this full registration at the end of this. So that's just kind of a way that you can use the resources that we have here. So you can always just kind of edit whatever message you want here, click HTML, and then copy and paste it into any of these that you would like. So let's go to the class enrollment. So why is this important? I like this to be as required because let's say I have a family coming in here and they're just registering for my organization, but that doesn't mean if I have class enrollment as, let's say, hidden or optional, let's say I have it as optional. That means that a family's coming into my organization, my account, and putting their information in, their family in, and then they are now going to be in my active families. If they do not enroll for a class, they are now taking up a spot in my account that could then cause me to move into a higher tier. So what I like to do is class enrollment to be required because the registration is just getting the general information. The class enrollment is when they're actively being part of a class. That's when they're enrolling into a class, and that is when they will go from an inactive family to an active family. They won't be taking up space in your account by not being in a class. That is completely up to you, though. If you're a newer company or a new organization and you're just trying to get a little bit of information for people to generate some leads, you can absolutely make that hidden. You can make it optional. You can do whatever you want to make your organization work the way that you want it to. If you have a Google tracking ID, you can put that in here. That will gather your analytics for your online registration form. And after your registration is complete, what do you want this confirmation message to say? If you don't want it to say anything and you want to redirect them to another page, you can do this. You can click redirect them to another page. And let's say you want this to go to the parent portal. You can absolutely go and get your parent portal URL and just simply copy and paste it in here. I'm going to keep it as this confirmation message just because I like to make sure that I see a confirmation anytime I do anything, anytime I pay anything. I just want to make sure that I say, yes, that is all good to go. For your email confirmation text, this is when you are getting an email. So they are going to get this confirmation message as soon as they click register, but then they'll get an email also. And this is going to be what their email is going to say. This is an email confirmation text. You want the email confirmation to show class dates. It's a quick yes or no. Do you want it to show instructor? Do you want a notification email that is different than your location email address? So let's say you have like a registration at recreationcenter.com. You can very easily put that in rather than it going to your location email address. So two very different things here. If you want to add multiple emails, you can just use the semicolon and put that in there. Do you want to show hide any class registration on the registration form? So when you're looking at the registration form, do you want the instructor nickname to be there? Do you want the number of openings to be there? And do you want the start and end dates to be there? So I've got that. You can again change all of this just by clicking these buttons here and updating anything that you want. When you are in the class search settings, do you want to allow a wait list when the class is full? If you've got a really popular class and you want to allow a wait list, sure, go ahead and put that on there. And then how do you want numbers to impact the number of class openings that you have? So do you want the number of people that are on the wait list to affect the number of class openings? Same thing for makeups, same thing for future drops and future enrolls. As you can see for the future drops and future enrolls, Jackrabbit has already determined this for you, a no and a yes. But what you can do is you can change this to quick registration. And again, that quick registration is when you as a user or one of your employees are in Jackrabbit itself, their account, and they are clicking quick registration. This is how this information will be seen. Class search and filter settings. Apply gender filter. Do you want a gender filter? You have classes that are specifically for a specific gender. If you do, you can click apply gender filter. Do you want to apply an age filter? Do you want to, what label do you want for category 1, category 2, and category 3? How do you have your category 1s set up? Because if you are a new customer to this organization, you might not know what category 1 is. I know when I first looked at Jackrabbit, I was like, category 1, what the heck? But now that I have gotten it and I've created my classes, I now know that my category 1 is my type. It's going to be swim, it's going to be dance, it's going to be gymnastics, it's going to be cheer. And then category 2 is the level. So is it intermediate? Is it beginner? Is it advanced? And then category 3, I just left open because for me and my organization that I have here as a test, I don't have too much of a category 3. But if you have it broken down, category 1, category 2, and category 3, you can absolutely do that. This is just another way for parents to be able to filter these classes when they are looking to add any classes. For your class listing tables on your website, do you want to show your register links and do you want to show full classes? And then quick registration settings. So again, this is when you as a user in your Jackrabbit account are going to the quick registration. You want to require an email. I always say yes to this. Require an email. That way they get that good information, or excuse me, that way you have information to reach the parent. Even if you just got a little bit of information, at least you got that email. And then email confirmation checkbox, default not checked, default to checked, or do not show. And then do you want to send a copy to you? So as somebody is going through a quick registration, do you want a copy of that quick registration sent to you? If you've got yes, it'll go there and it'll send to your organization email. So let's save these changes. Let's scroll on up. And then we're going to go over here to field options and labels. So this is where those field options, the user-defined fields, are going to come into play. There are a lot of different field options here when it comes to the registration form. Like I said at the beginning of this, you can make this registration form as long or as short as you want it for customers. I like to have it longer just because I want to make sure I'm getting as much information as possible from my parents so that I don't have to bug them and say, hey, I forgot to have this on the registration form, or hey, can you actually fill out this information or that information? I just want them to go ahead and get all the information taken care of. That way I have to ask the least amount of questions as possible on their first day when they are here for their class or for their students' class. So here is how we can change these. So do you want this referral information here? If you don't want this referral information, if you don't care how the customer found you or heard about you, you can click hidden and you can click hidden. But let's say you do a referral bonus. You can click optional here. and you can click optional here. That way they can put, how did you hear about us? Referral. What's the referral's name? You can say, Bob Smith. Bob Smith now gets a referral bonus because they've now referred a new family. So that is how you can change that. And then family information. So when we're looking at these field settings, this field options, all of these, the options here are going to be hidden, optional, or required. Everything on this right-hand row is going to be hidden, optional, or required. This registration form label, this basically means how do you want this to present when you're looking at the family information header? What do you want it to say? Do you want it to say general information instead of family information? You can absolutely do that. If you want family to say account instead, you can do that. If you don't care about the family or account name, you can change this from required to hidden or optional. I'm going to keep that as required. Home address, you want it to be required. City, state, zip code. Your phone number, I have just given this as required because you always want to make sure that you've got that primary phone number so that if you're using that self check-in, the little kiosk, it is going to use that phone number that they have. That way they can log in and get signed in. Emergency info, do you want that emergency info? Do you want health insurance? I've got this as hidden. E-payment schedule, membership type, you can change all of this. So if you want all of these to say something completely different, as long as there's a text box here, you can change the way that that is. For your user-defined fields, this is where we are getting into those user-defined fields that we looked at the beginning of this. Here is that alternate pickup. So I've got this as optional, but I can put it as required. Let's say I'm not using it for this registration form. I can put right here hidden. I'm going to put that back to optional. And then here are contact ones. So this is contact one. You can change this to a different name if you would like. Same thing here, required, optional, or hidden. And these are the only two registration form labels that you can change. You can also make all of these home phone number, work phone number, cell phone, email, and employer information. It really just depends on what kind of information you're looking for when it comes to this online registration form. Same thing here for contact number 2. It's the same exact thing as contact number 1, except right here it says contact number 2. And then when we are looking at the student, as you can see here, you cannot change the student gender or birth date. These are all required. This is something that is predetermined through Jackrabbit. And then if you want the gender to be, the form label to be different, you can change this right here to student gender. You can change it to however you would like. For email, you can do the same. And then here you can just kind of change all of the information. You've got school, grade level, transportation. Do I want disabilities, special needs, allergies, and medications to be put in there? As you can see here, it says medication, leave blank if none. If you want them to actually acknowledge that they have put something in here, you can put in here, let's say required, and leave, let's say, put an A if none. That way, medications, they're having to put something in. They're not just looking by it. They're not just going to what is required and filling out the bare minimum of what is required. You can make this required and you can make them type something in even if there aren't any medications. You can do the same thing for allergies, special needs, disabilities. You can do this for every single one of these fields if you want. Same thing here for primary doctor, immunizations, and then immunization notes. And then the very last thing is the student user-defined fields. Again, these are the user-defined fields that I showed at the beginning, but this is for the student. So we've got pronouns and nickname here. All right, so that is everything when it comes to field options and labels. I'm going to go ahead and save these changes. And then I am going to preview registration form. So again, this is the registration form. This is what your new families are going to see when they are logging in and trying to register for classes. So let's go ahead and fill this out because I want to go ahead and show you different ways or different views that you can see here. So here, as you can see, the asterisk denotes required fields. So I don't have to put any referral information in here. I'm going to put in account last name. Let's say I'm going to put in, we're going to put in Beast. Home address is 1500 Reese Road. And we're going to put in a random number in here. Okay, emergency contact. Riley. We can obviously put in more information here as we see fit. Alternate pickup. So again, this is that user-defined field. So do I have an alternate pickup that I want them to put in here? It is not required because that is the setting that I had, but you can go back in there and make this required if you do think that they're going to have an alternate pickup, or if you just want them to put NA in here, just so they have acknowledged that. Contact number 1, I'm going to put in Frank. And let's say contact number 1 and contact number 2 have different last names. You can very quickly just click in this and change that. Same thing here for mother. We can put father here. We can put guardian. We can put parent, self. We can change all of this. And you can change these when it comes to the type. You can change that in your general settings. It'll be under your drop-down list. So let's change that to father. Let's put a phone number in here. Actually, that's not required. Let's put it in the cell phone number. Let's put email address. Let's put frank@dees.com. frank@dees.com. And then this is where you're going to set up your portal account password. So this is where Frank is going to set up their portal account password. So what do you want that password to be? I'm just going to put something in here. And as you can see here, as I typed it in, it said very strong. So it will kind of just grade your password when it comes to the strength of it. Here, the contact number 2, it is not required. And again, this is where I could change, let's say Ron is the last name. Sure, we can say Emily, and we're going to say parent. And that's all the information I want to put in for contact number 2. And then student, Emily, or student's first name, we're going to put in, let's say Tim. Tim is male. And birth date is, I'm going to type this in, 08. Oh, t-shirt size. We've got, let's say we got an adult medium. Do we have any disabilities? No. Special needs? No. Allergies? No. Medications, as you can see here, that is where that is required. So you've got that there, and then medications, let's put in here. Let's just put in NA. Actually, let's put in inhaler as needed. Pronouns, let's say this child goes by he, them, and nickname, we can leave blank. And here we are, we're going to select classes. As you can see here, this is the asterisk, meaning that you have to enroll for a class to finish this registration form. This family can't just simply put in their information and then be part of our organization without enrolling in a class. So let's go here, and we are going to go right here. You can search right here. Here are those different filters that you can do. So as you can see, category 1 is the type, category 2 is the level, and then category 3, as you can see, that is not changed because I did not put anything in for that category 3. So let's say I want the location to be Maine, apply. So now I know that I'm only seeing the ones that are on the Maine. And then let's say we want to do steppers. So now I've included that. So now I've enrolled this student here, Tim, into Steppers 2000. If I want to add another student, I absolutely can. I can add another student, put in all of this information, and enroll in a class. As you can see, they are not required to enroll in a class because I already have one student enrolled in the class there. If I wanted to add another student, I can. let's say I accidentally clicked student number 2 and you're worried that this is saying that this is required, but you did not mean to click that for student number 1. That is all right. The system is going to know that you only meant to click this student 1 and student 2. It will allow to be empty. Then we can go to our required policies. These, if you are looking at your required policies, the ones that are coming up, if you go to your policies and you go to your default policies, that is the ones that will show up. And I'll show you that shortly. So we can click this. Yes, I've read this. They can click this and they can just very quickly see it. And then we can go right here. Yes, I've read the above. Yes, I've read the above. I'm going to enter my full name. I think I put in here Frank. Do I have any comments or questions? No. What e-payment schedule do I have? Let's say we're going to be charged monthly. And then here's that credit card information that we have. So then we would fill in that credit card information. We would click submit registration and they would be all set. And then they would get that confirmation message. So that is what happens when we are looking at that registration. Let's look at these policies. So if we go over here to the gear icon, settings, policies, and if we go to policy groups, see this where it says, is there a default policy group that parents should agree to even when there is no class enrollment? This is what is going to show up when you are on the online registration form, these default policies here. And if you want to see what are in your default policies, you can very quickly just click this. And these are the 3 that we just agreed to in that online registration form. The other thing is if you charge a registration fee, you can go to this little gear icon again, settings and registration fees for new families. As you can see here, it has a little bit of information that you're going to fill out. Do you want to charge a registration fee? If the answer is no, you simply just slide this over to where it's gray, and that way you will not be charging any registration fees. Let's say I do want to charge a registration fee. I can change this now to yes. And then when do you want to post the fee? Do you want it to always post or only when enrolling in class? This question here only has to do with the fact that if you are allowing families to to use the online registration form without enrolling into any classes. So if you're requiring them to do enrollment, this question does not matter on how you answer this. But let's say you are doing online registration form where the enrollment is optional. You can still charge a registration fee just for them putting their information in. That way you don't have all these families putting in your information and then clogging up your account and possibly pushing you into a higher tier. So that is really up to you. And then how do you want to post the fees? Do you want to post it by family or do you want to post it by student? If you want to post it by family, you can very simply just put in a very flat fee here, $50 for the family. Doesn't matter how many students you have. Or do you want to do it per student? Here you can then change this. Let's say I want $20 for the first student. And then I want $10. And then I want, let's say $8 for anything past that. But I don't want them to be charged anything over, let's say 40. So that way, if let's say there's a family with 3 kids, they're going to get charged 20, 10, and 8, which is $38. If you have a family that has 4 students or more, the maximum that they would be charged is $40. This is an optional option though. So as you can see here, this is an option or optional. So if I just want, let's say I have a lot of families in the area who have so many kids and I just want to register them or have a registration fee for each kid. So it'd be 20 plus 10 plus 8. If they have a 4th kid, another $8. A 5th kid will be another $8. And then there is no maximum here for the maximum fee. For the settings transaction type, how do you want it to display when you're looking at your transaction? I've got this as a registration. Transaction subtype, you can leave this blank. Transaction note I have here as registration fee. Category 1 I've got here as a registration fee. used first class session. Do you want this to be associated with the first class session? Yes or no? And then select the desired option. And this is your session here. So that is everything when it comes to registration fees. So we have looked at really everything that it has to do with your online registration form. I do not have anything else. If you will hang out when you are done, this will get you to, once I end this Zoom call, you will be able to submit a survey that will give me a lot of really good feedback on what we did and did not cover, information that you learned, information that you wish was covered. Yeah, so that is everything. I'm going to give Kelly and Dawn a minute to answer any of those Q&As that are still hanging out. If you are looking for any more information, you can reach me at training@jackrabbittech.com. And if you scan that QR code, you can join our Facebook user group. That is a great way for you to contact other users who are using Jackrabbit. You can bounce ideas off of them, or if you have a question and you don't want to put it in a chat or a ticket, it's just a general question, you can very simply just put it on that Facebook user group, and we have moderators who work with Jackrabbit or work for Jackrabbit who go in there and check it throughout the day. All right, I am going to mute myself. I'm going to stop the video, and I'm going to look at some of these Q&As.